Hi, welcome to the bonus workshop for Session 5. Okay, we are now into chords. We have done all of our single notes on all these strings in the first position. Now we're into a whole new world of guitar playing in chords. Okay, a lot of fun is about to happen once we start this chord session. Let's look at what we learned this session. We talked about proper hand position for chord playing. We learned 14 of our basic open chords. These are the chords that make guitar players a guitar player. You can't be a guitar player unless you know these basic chords. We also learned the proper fingering for each chord. Okay? The most important skills for you to master at this stage are learning these basic open chord forms. You're going to have to just memorize them. That's how that is. We have to memorize also playing the correct number of strings. How many strings are with each chord? And also playing a consistent, correct, even strumming pattern. Okay? We also need to work on changing between chords at the right time. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, the first thing we want to cover is proper hand position for chord playing. Okay? Let's talk about the left hand first. Okay? You want to keep your wrist low, just like we did for single note playing. We want to keep our wrist low for chord playing. Keep that thumb down. You're going to want to, because you're going to need that extra power, you're going to want to keep that thumb up. But the answer to getting a good chord sound is not there. You have to bring that wrist down, bring that thumb down for that. Okay? It needs a little bit of airspace. We talked about having a little bit of airspace here. Make sure that is happening in your left hand. Let's talk about the right hand. Okay? We learned chords that have 4 strings, chords that have 5 strings, and chords that have 6 strings. And you need to keep that straight. Some are 4, some are 5, some are 6. Okay? As you're doing your strum, let's say I'm doing a 6-string chord here. Remember how this works? I come all the way down, I hit all of the strings, and then I come back up, and I hit some of them. I go all the way down, I hit all of them, come back up, I hit some of them. Okay? That's how the arc should go. Down, up, down, up, down, up. A nice, relaxed strumming stroke on that. You don't want to be gripping your pick too hard. It's not all arm, and it's not all wrist. It's a combination of both of them, like you are wiping the guitar down. Okay? Now, let's get into some of these exercises. First, let's look at our first group of chords. Okay? First thing we're going to learn is the C chord. Remember, that was the first one that we learned way back in Session 1. Remember way back in Session 1? Here we go. Let's do the 5-string C chord. So I start on this 5th string. Hold those fingers down nice and steady. And then let's play it all together. If some of your strings are buzzing, try and hug right up against that fret. Let's try it one more time. Individual notes. And then all together. Good. Okay. Next chord we learned was a G7th. So we put our 2 fingers up here, put our other finger down there. This is a 6-string chord. Let's go through it individual. Play it all together. Good. Next one was an A minor chord. We're back to a 5-string chord. Play individual notes first. All together. Here's the easy one. An E chord is the same form as an A minor, just moved up. Everybody moves up a string. So let's do an E chord, 6 strings. And then the new one that we learned for this session was a D minor. This is our first 4-string chord that we've run across. Okay? Starts on that D, the 4th string. Don't hit that 5th string or the 6th string. Put your pick on that 4th string. We have to open up this 1st and 3rd finger a little bit more than probably you might be used to. But don't worry, your hands will grow, or your hands will stretch. They will get better at flexing as we do chords. Some people think when they first try chords, they think, oh, well, I'll never get that. My hands are too small. No, it really doesn't work that way. Your hands will stretch. Just like any other part of your body, the more you work it, the more flexible it's going to become. Let's look at that D minor chord. And then all together. One more time, single notes. All together. Now, don't worry too much if some of your strings may be doing that. That has to do with finger strength. Now, finger strength will come in a couple of weeks. Okay, so don't give up on it after 2 days and your chords are sounding. After about 2 or 3 days, you may start to get one to sound. One may be buzzy. After about a week or so, and then the only difference in all of that, I didn't move my hand at all. It's just the strength and the power that's in that grip. Okay, and that's what we're building up. We have to build up those muscles. It's a physical thing. Okay, we're going to be working through the bonus workshop exercises for session 5. Okay, these as well as a ton of other resources are available to you online at learnandmasterguitar.com/resources. Okay, so let's look at the C, G7, A minor, E, and D minor chord bonus exercises. Okay, these are the ones that are in the key of C. We're going to start with number 1. Okay, C, it's a 5-string chord. We're going to go nice and slow. 1, 2, ready, go. C. Then down, up, down, up, down, up. Give you a few beats to find that G7th. Ready, play. G7th. Down, up, down, up. Let's repeat it. Go back to the C. 2, 3, and C. Go. G7, 2, G7, and ready, go. Good. Let's go to number 2. Let's find that A minor. Ready, go. Down, up, rest. Then it does it again. Rest. Switch to E. Rest. Repeat it, go. Rest. E. Rest. Rest. Okay, now let's look at number 3. That one starts on that D minor. See if you can get that D minor form, since that one may be uncomfortable or not uncomfortable, but unfamiliar to you. Okay, D minor. Nice and slow. Ready, play. D minor. Half note here. Then we're going to switch to an A minor. Okay, so get your fingers in place. A minor. A minor. Back to D minor, go. Another one. A minor, play. A minor. Good. How'd you do on that one? Okay, let's do number 4. This one goes back to our old familiar C. Oh, man, this one's easy. Look at that. Here we go. C, ready, go. Rest, G7th, go. Back to C, go. G7th, ready, go. Okay, let's take a look at number 5. Oh, these are easy. Ready, go. A minor. Rest, E. Back to A minor. Back to E. Rest, rest. Let's do number 6. 1, 2, number 6, and let's slow it down. Rest, A minor. D minor, go. G7th, ready, go. Do it again, 6. Then to an A minor. D minor, here, go. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. Okay? Now we're going to look at our second group of chords. Okay, we've got these first group, which is these ones that are in C, G7, and those. Now we're going to go to our second group of chords. Okay, and let's take a look at those. Starts with a G chord. Okay, we learned 2 fingerings for that. Here's the first fingering of the G chord. Okay, we got to reach that third finger all the way up here at the top. And what's the answer? How do we do that? Lower that wrist. Don't go up like that. Lower that wrist. Now, I also taught you another way to play it, which is with the second finger, second, 1, and then 3 all the way down here. You can really use either one, whichever one you prefer on that. Different guys do it different ways. Okay, for the G chord. Let's look at that D7th. It's a D chord, so we're back to a 4-string chord again. Okay, make extra sure that this second finger, he doesn't have his little rear end on this second string and is muting out that first finger C. Now, initially when you start this, you just may not be able to physically get this second finger from not hitting that other string. Okay, and you may think, oh, here's another way out. I can't play chords. Doesn't work that way. It will take you a week or two to kind of find the sweet spot for where these fingers need to lie. I know you're thinking in your head, oh, I have fat fingers, I can't play chords. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't happen that way. Your fingers will find the sweet spot for it, okay? Give yourself a little time to learn these. It doesn't come within the first couple of days. You got to hang out with them for a couple of weeks, okay? Here's that D7th again. Let's play it together. D. And then all together. Okay, what's next? E minor, all 6 strings. This is an easy one. Okay, let's do it individually. Sorry. And then together. Now, here's the tricky one of this batch. B7th. Let's take a look at this. Second finger on that 5th string B. First finger on that D sharp. Then we have A, open B, and F sharp. Try one more time. That's kind of a tough one to get. But don't give up on it. It'll come in a week or two. You got to keep working at it. Okay? All right, these are the G, D7th, E minor, and B7th chord bonus exercises. Okay? Let's start with number 1. Starts on that G. 1, 2, ready, play. G. D7th, 2, find it, 4-string chord. Let me try that again. I kind of botched that rhythm there. Let's try it one more time. This is number 1. Okay, we'll start that number 1 from the beginning. Ready, go. G. D7th, here we go. Ready, play. Repeat it. Back to the G and go. D7th, 2, ready, go. Number 2, it starts you out on that B7th, that harder chord. So I'll give you a second to find it. Get all those fingers in the right position there. Here we go, number 2, B7th, ready, go. E minor, 2, ready, play. Back to B7th, ready, go. E minor, 2, 3, 4. Let's go to number 3. Starts on a G, ready, play. Find that D7th 4-string chord. G, D 7th, go. Do it again, go. D 7th, go. Don't be too stiff with your strumming there. Just let that pick go where it needs to. G, D 7th, go. Number 4, G. E minor, find it, go. C's next. D 7th, ready, go. Let's try that one again. Number 4, G. E minor, ready, go. Then to a C. Rest, rest, D 7th. Rest, rest. Take a look at number 5. This one starts with that B 7th. I'll give you a second to find it. There you go. B 7th, ready, go. Rest, E minor, go. B 7th, ready, go. Rest, E minor. Okay, let's skip to number 6. Okay, let's move on to number 6. G starts on a G. 1 and 2 and ready, play. D 7, use even strums. Smooth strums. E minor, go. B 7th, ready, go. Let's give you one more shot at that. G, go. D 7th, ready, go. E minor, ready, go. B 7th, ready, go. Good. That gives you a pretty good workout on all these chords. Okay? Now, let's look at our third and last group of chords that we learned. Okay? First one is a D chord. Okay? It's a 4-string chord. All these D chords, let me just give you a hint, all these D chords are 4-string chords, whether it's D, D7, D minor. We've learned 3 of them so far. They're all going to be 4-string chords. Let me give you another hint. All the A's are going to be 5-string chords. All your C's, all your B's are going to be 5-string chords. Wait a minute. Let's see if this works. On the 6th string, what are the notes I have on the 6th string? E, F, and G. Well, we've learned some E chords, we learned some G chords. Those 3 are on the 6th string. All of our E's, those are all 6-string chords. G, both of those G's are on the 6th string. What's on the A string? We have A, B, and C. So all of the A chords, all of the B chords, of which we only know one, B 7th, and all of the C chords, those are all going to be 5-string chords. Are you kind of seeing how this is working? On the 4th string, we have D. All of our D chords, we have D, E, and F, but we already did E and F on the low 6th string, so we're just worried about the D. All of the D chords are going to be 4-string chords. Let's take a look at that D. 1, 3, and 2. Really try and squeeze that second finger underneath there. Good. Then together. Then we have a C7. Well, that's just like a C, except we're putting our pinky down on this 3rd string right there. Pinky on that 3rd string, 3rd fret. Okay, then we learned an A. Now this is a tough one. I can hear y'all complaining at me already on this one. An A. You have your 2nd finger, you have your 3rd finger, and I'm going to squeeze your pinky all in that same fret. Okay, the alternate fingering of that is to bar the 2nd string, 3rd string, and 4th string with your 1st finger. But here's the rule on that. You can't play that last string or you'll end up with, and that's the wrong chord. So we have two ways of playing it, A or that way. Okay? What's next? A7th, second finger, third finger squeezed up underneath that. Make sure that third string G is still open. And the last one of this batch is E7. Remember how we had an E? Just take your third finger off. So you're left with your second finger and your first finger. And that's E7. Okay? Now, we're going to look at the D, C7, A, A7, and E7 chord bonus exercises, starting off with number 1. Okay, you ready? This is our last batch. Starts off with a D. 1, 2, ready, go. A7, 2, ready, go. Back to the D, ready, go. A7, 2, ready, play. Okay, first one starts on number 2, starts with an A. Okay, so I'll give you a second to find that A. Don't worry again if you're not getting this the first time you play it. Okay, chords blossom. Okay, it takes a while for them to get there, so don't give up after the first, second day. It's going to take about 1 or 2 weeks for that A chord to start opening up. There we go. Number 2, ready, A, ready, go. E7th, find it, ready, go. Back to the A, ready, go. E7th, 2, ready, play. Okay, look at number 3. Starts out with that C7, ready, play. 1, 2, 1, 2, E7th. Another one. Let's go ahead and go on to number 4 there. Ready, number 4, go. Rest, rest, A. Rest, rest, D. Rest, rest, A. Rest, rest. Now, let me talk to you here for a second on these D's and A's. Okay? A lot of times guitar players who like to be a lazy bunch at times, we will get sloppy and we'll have our 4-string D chord, but we'll say, oh, let me go ahead and play that A in there too. Now, on the D chord, it just happens to work that A happens to be one of the chord notes in that chord. So it happens to work, but it's not going to work that way all the time, or even most of the time. But it does happen to work on a D, so a lot of guys get sloppy with it, and they say, I'll play a D with 5 strings, and I'll have that low A in there. Kind of makes the sound a little bit muddy, but it's not an excuse for you to get sloppy with your playing. It should be a 4-string chord, just like the others. Okay? Same thing with the A. A also, the 5th of that chord is the E, so a lot of guys just play that as a 6-string chord. And that's not really quite accurate. It gets a little muddy down there with both of those low notes. Okay, let's do that one more time. Number 4, D, ready, go. 4-string chord, then to an A 5-string chord. Back to the D, go. A, go. Number 5, E7th. A7th. E7th. We're getting a good workout on these chords. A7th. Let's move on to number 6. Take a look at number 6. Ready, D, ready, go. Rest, C7th, go. Back to the D, go. A7th, ready, go. Do it one more time. Here we go. C7th, ready, go. And then Then to the D, go. A, 7th, ready, go. There you go. Whew, we have gone through a whole mess of them. Okay? Now we're going to put them all together. Let's put all these together and go through the last bonus exercises, which are called all basic open chords. Okay? We're going to run through these 6. I'm going to kick it up a little bit of a notch here because we are coming to the end of this and we need to get some good practice on these chords. So if you're not able to follow at this point, just get a little bit more familiar with them and then see if you can keep up with me in a couple of days. Okay? Here we go. Number 1 starts on a C. 1, 2, C, go. C 7th. Back to C. Get used to how that pinky moves. Same thing on the G. G 7th. Rest. Back to C, go. Rest. Rest. G. Rest. Number 2, here we go. 1, 2, number 2, and go. Rest. A7. Rest. Back to A. Get used to jumping in between these chords. E7. Just take that 3rd finger off. Do it again. A. Rest. A7. Rest. Rest. E. Rest. 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 Number 3. 1, 2, ready, play. Jump to that G7. See how that first finger F is constant between both those chords. Okay, 2nd measure. So the smart little guitar player realizes that he can keep his first finger on that 1st fret for both of those chords. Okay, now we go to C. The next measure. A minor. Again, keep that first finger sitting on that C and it'll work. Back to C. That one, even the 2nd and the 1st finger are consistent. Let's do that again. Number 3, D minor. D minor. C. A lot of guitar playing is about economy of motion. You want to move as little as you need to in order to get the job done. Number 4, 1, 2, number 4, and go. Rest. 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 Let's do number 5. Ready, go. A. B7. Rest. E. A. B7. Wow, this is giving you a workout. Number 6. 1, 2, number 6, and go. Then G, D7, G. A. And the last one, E. Wow, that's a good workout through all that stuff. Okay, the last thing I want to cover before I let you go, let you out in the real world, is we're going to learn a little traditional fiddle song called Turkey in the Straw. We're going to try and play this nice and slow. We're going to start with notes. Okay, remember notes way back last session? We're going to play the notes first, okay? Let's look at this. Okay, let's look at that first line. Couple things I noticed right off the bat. I've got an F sharp right after that treble clef. That means every F in this whole song is going to be sharped, whether it has a sharp sign by it or not. You'll notice I wrote above each F sharp a little F sharp note name so that you can remember that that's there. And that's a good trick for you to be able to do as well. Okay, we're going to run through this pretty slow. We're going to do the single notes first. 1, 2, 3, 4. quarter note. Here comes that second line. Reach over for that F sharp. Quarter, quarter. Third line, ready, go. Next measure. 3, 4, 4, another one. Last line, go. Here's that tricky F sharp right there. Okay, I'll leave you to do that to speed it up on your own. Okay, now we're going to talk about the chords, because this is what we're talking about this time. G. First, we're going to do a strumming pattern that's just one chord per bar, one chord per measure. Let's start on that G, the first line. Okay, so we're back on the first line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Play another one here. If there's nothing in a measure, that just means you keep playing the previous measure. Previous measure's chord. Now here comes a D, and back to the second line, go. 2, 3, another one. 2, 3, 4, one more. Now here comes a D for 2 beats, and then back to G. 1, 2, here we go, third line. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. Fourth line, go. 3, 4. Here's 2 beats of this G, and then D7. Back to G. 2, 3, 4. D to a G. Okay? Now we're going to try a simple strumming pattern, which is a quarter, 2 eighths, and a half. Down, down, up, down. Okay, here we go. A little bit faster. 1, 2, first line, ready, go. Down. Next measure. Third measure, or third. Now comes the D. Next line. Here we go, 2 beats of D. Third line. To a C, go. Last line, go. D7. There you go. Okay. Now, the strumming pattern that's actually written on the music, you'll notice, is quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, eighth, eighth, which gives you even less of a chance to change chords. So we're slowly getting faster at changing our chords. Let's do that one, okay? So now we're using the strumming pattern that's written on the page. Down, down, up, down, down, up. 1, 2, first line, go. Down, down, up, down, down. Second measure. Third measure. D. Second line. Second measure. Third measure. D. Third line. C. Here comes a fourth line. Quick D7. That is a pretty good workout on all these chords that we've been learning. Okay, let me encourage you for a second. Playing music is not all work. I know at times it seems like a whole lot of work on this stage as you're learning it, and occasionally it can get frustrating to you. But having fun is what makes music enjoyable. There is a reason that we call the activity of all of this, of making music, playing. You ever wonder why they say that you're playing guitar or playing music? Because it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. So learn to enjoy the times of playing your instrument. Take some time just to play and experiment with finding new melodies, chords, or even make up your own song. Take a trip down to the local music store. See if they have any songbooks of some music you would like to learn. Take it home and start to work on a song that you'd like. It's good to occasionally take a break from the effort of learning all these notes and chords to play just for the fun of it. Remember, learning the mechanics of playing an instrument is the mundane but necessary precursor to a life filled with making music. So keep up the great work, and we'll see you next time. Okay, here's some tips to learning this material. Okay, first, take it slow. Chords are a lot of fun, and it's easy once you start getting a couple of forms underneath your belt to start quickly strumming the rhythm and worrying about the next chord. But that ends up with a starting and stopping approach to playing. Try and go very rhythmic at this stage, and then we'll eventually get to loosening it up a little bit. When you first look at an exercise, look at the chords that are involved. Okay, maybe even change between the chord forms a few times to get the motion of it, like if I'm going from a C to a G. Kind of practice the physical motion of it for a second. And then play through the entire exercise at a slow and steady pace. Okay, next thing, go ahead and start now memorizing these chord forms. All guitar players need to know these at a moment's notice, be able to whip out these chords. Okay, any guitarist that calls himself a guitar player is going to have these chords memorized, so go ahead and start putting those to memory right now. In most music, the chord blocks will not be given, and only the chord name will be written in. So begin the process of putting these basic chord forms to memory. So quiz yourself on these basic chords and their chord forms. Look at these forms and see how they relate to each other in shape. Kind of group them together by families. Next thing, still, it's important to try to not look at your hands. When you're learning these chords, it's helpful to look at your hand to glance to determine if your finger's in the right place. But again, as you get more familiar with them, try not to look at your hands. Okay, here's something to try. Start with chords that are closely related to each other in shape, like your A minor and your E form. The goal is to eventually wean yourself from glancing at your hands all the time. As your chord playing improves, this constant glancing at your hands back and forth will begin to slow you down and slow your ability to change chords quickly. Changing chords without having to look at them will be much faster in time, so kind of get used to not looking at this point. Here's some things to watch out for at this stage. Hesitating between chord changes. Hesitating between chord changes is a natural part of this learning process for chords. Initially, it'll take some time to get the fingers in the right spots for the chords, but over time, these changes between chords should be getting steadily quicker. As familiarity with each chord grows, chords will eventually be fingered on the fretboard. Here's a secret: as one complete shape rather than each individual finger finding its place. When your chord comes down, it needs to come down as a unit, not as one finger, one finger, one finger. Okay? Another thing to look out for is playing unneeded strings. Pay careful attention to the amount of strings that should be on every chord. Remember, D chords are 4-string chords, A's, B's, and C chords are 5-string chords, E's and G chords are 6-string chords. While this may be difficult when first learning chords, it's an important part of playing the chord correctly. Okay? Next thing is incorrect strumming motion. The strumming motion should be a smooth down and up motion. On the down strum, we hit the correct number of strings. On the up strum, we just hit a few of them. The motion should be a fluid, smooth motion, using only a slight bit of wrist movement combined with a good deal of arm movement. The arc of the downward motion should angle to contact the strings at the desired lowest string of the chord, go down through the rest of the strings, and then come back up, striking some of the strings, and then completing the cycle. Last thing is incorrect strumming rhythm. These exercises are starting to include rhythms, so be careful to be accurate with the strums and the rests. I know there's a lot of things to be thinking about with all these chord forms and strumming, but remember to play the correct rhythm of strums and rests. Keep up the great work. You're ready to move on from this session when the basic chord exercises 1, 2, and 3 in your book can be played smoothly at 60 to 70 beats per minute. When the notes to Morning Has Broken can be played with the quarter notes at 85 beats per minute and the chords at 55 beats per minute. When the notes to America the Beautiful can be played at quarter notes 75 beats per minute and the chords can be played at 55 to 60 beats per minute, then you're ready to move on. When you can do all of these things at those tempos, then you're ready to go on to the next session where we'll be learning all about